What was it like to witness the scene for the NFC Championship game, Chris?
It was incredible. I think, the thing that the Commanders had working against them was, and I don't know how much y'all believe or buy into intangibles, but the Eagles were waiting for this game, after that second matchup, where it felt like the Eagles did everything wrong, losing CJ Gardner-Johnson in that game, having trouble sorting routine concepts in the red zone, getting tempoed, giving up big plays. That was a crazy, crazy game in the rubber match in the regular season. And I think the Eagles were relishing this opportunity to play this team again. And I think ultimately what you saw is, and this isn't taking anything away from the Commanders, and I thought this would be a close game, but I did not have on my bingo card that they'd show up to the NFC Championship, NFC East Championship, and turn the ball over like that 3 times. Just very routine situations where you walk away and you say, hey, listen, like the Commanders will be back. I think that quarterback is special. But it looked like an okay football team with a really good quarterback. And, I think there is some regression to the mean when you get deeper into the playoffs, like teams become who you thought they might be. And, the Commanders were picked to win 6 games. I think it was a tremendous success story for them, and they're way ahead of schedule. And now I think the key for them is going to be not to be a victim of their own success. The bar has been raised probably at a rate that, quite frankly, you weren't anticipating it being raised at 2 years into a build. But I think they should be very proud of what they did this year. And the Eagles were just bigger, better, more physical. That roster is incredible. Getting a chance to see them a few times in person this year and going down on the field and seeing some of my buddies and, giving Lane a hug before the game, Jordan, Juergens, Dickerson, they're huge. All those guys are enormous. And when they start leaning on you, you think the Commanders' edges are pretty average-sized edge players in the league. You lose Payne in this, before the game. It felt like there was not a short yardage situation that the Eagles couldn't convert. And, 6, 7 rushing touchdowns is what it felt like. I don't know what it was.
It was 7, and it's a record, and it's unbelievable. And we've never seen 3 from 2 different people. Hurts and Saquon are the first pair of teammates to have 3 rushing touchdowns in the same playoff game. It was unbelievable, Chris. And the fact that, you do go down, you do know what a Howie Roseman, from Joe Banner down to Howie Roseman style of roster. It's handle your business in the trenches, get yourself a special quarterback if you can, get yourself some wideouts if you can, and run the ball and own the trenches on either side of the ball, and you're going to wind up winning. All that said, dude, Saquon Barkley's the MVP of this team. It's just kind of that simple. And I know Hurts just had the best game that he's had, I think, since the Super Bowl loss. And I'm talking about regular season. He had his best game since losing the Super Bowl, where he could have been the MVP of a losing team for only the second time in the history of that game. But when the Commanders start with 18 plays, settle for 3, make a couple 4th downs, Saquon ripping one off from 60 yards out. That's dude, I've never seen anything like it, ever.
It takes so much air out of, you have this game plan. You're going to stick to it. You're going to possess the football. You're going to go on an 8-minute drive. You're going to convert on 4th down, although you don't go on the last 4th down, which to me, in a game where you're probably going to chase points, it's never too early if you know yourself and you know your enemy, So in that situation, I would have gone. But the fact that Saquon ripped that run off the first play of the game just flipped the script. And, at that point, speaking to the roster, and I would say this, I saw Howie after the game, saw Jeffrey, saw Nick, and, I said to Howie, was like, man, this isn't an accident. When you're back here with 3 different teams, 3 very different teams. I mean, there's a lot of crossover from the team that went a couple years ago, but they've made key additions. Zach Bond, players like that, coaches like Vic Fangio, rookies like Mitchell, DeJean. They're doing things right organizationally. It's not just an accident. And I think that's the biggest thing I came away from that game and this run thinking is like, what an organization now. You can say that. Whether they win this Super Bowl or not, I think they've cemented themselves as, one of the few organizations in the NFL that have a way of doing things. And sometimes it's hard to put your finger on it with the Eagles. I think that's what's so interesting. From the hires to the way Nick operates, to some of the moves like, hey, we're going to de-emphasize the running back position, the linebacker position for a long time. Then all of a sudden we're going to bring in a guy like Zach Bond, who's first team All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and a running back who absolutely changes the dynamic of the whole thing. So when I look ahead to Kansas City, I think that Saquon signing that got him here might be the difference. I'm not sure. I'm not ready to pick that game.
Mm-hmm.
But when you watch the Buffalo Bills go for 100 yards in the second half pretty quickly on the ground, this Eagles front is better and the back's better, as good as James Cook is. I think it's all going to be about the chess match between Spags and Kellen Moore and Jalen. And for Jalen, let me say this. He's going to get held a lot of the talent around him against him, and I've done it before. Sometimes you look at it. This roster might be one of the best rosters the past 10 years in the NFL, like top to bottom. And so the quarterback is going to get a lot of heat when they don't win. And the style of play has not lent itself to him being heavily celebrated. But he's a winner, and he gutted it out last week and made the plays he needed to make this week. And, I'm super happy for him. And he's got a chance to do the unthinkable, to dethrone the Chiefs, and get back there again. I think he's the first – is he the first quarterback that lost the Super Bowl like that? And I saw some stat today. What was it, Cowboy?
I got it for you. Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback to lose his first Super Bowl appearance and get back to the game since Jim Kelly did it 3 times. And everyone else since then has not made it back until Jalen Hurts just did. That's correct.
That's really impressive. And thank you, Rich. That's not my strong suit.
I got you, bro.
Reading factoids and recalling them with accuracy, but whatever it was, it impressed me hearing that. And, he's shown a lot of resolve. So I got to tip my cap to him and the entire organization.
Well, listen, recalling stats might not be your strong suit, but getting poop-faced and coming on and giving some excellent conversation the next day isn't my strong suit. So I appreciate you. We're both filling each other's gaps in right now.
You got to stop drinking at like 10 o'clock. That's the key. You stop drinking at 10 o'clock. You sober up by 2 a.m. And I was up at 1 a.m. I was up at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
After I the Four Seasons elevator in Philadelphia, which is a spectacular elevator ride. I rode it up and down probably 7 times. I sat in my room and watched the Kansas City Buffalo game again because, I definitely was watching that game at the birthday bar, but I did not see it in detail. So
the eye in the sky was a little blurry at the birthday bar.
It was, but it was. I had my Bills glasses on.
I like it.
I was screaming at the TV. We had a back room. It was amazing. But, when you watch it back, you really picked up a lot of stuff you don't see when you're drunk at a bar watching the game.
Wait, Chris,
isn't that interesting?
Did you do the bench press at the tailgate I saw people doing? That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a great question. My sidekick, Bo Allen.
He did. He was impressive, Bo.
He did it a couple weeks ago. He's a real powder keg. Yeah. Now, he didn't break the record, which – bench is kind of an everyman thing where you could get some steroids and probably you could be like anybody and win a bench competition. So, I think Bo had some stiff competition that's passed through that lot over the years. I did see yesterday a pig roast in a shopping cart. That was my favorite thing that I saw. And then I met Wolfie from the Howard Stern show. Which was a big deal as well to my mom, especially, who was tailgating with me. She loves the Howard Stern show.
Who doesn't, right?
You know what you're going to see at the link. And Bo bench pressing is just one of the many things.
Fantastic. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.